first time I've ever been at a dedicated gold conference, and I must admit it's pretty good to not have to compete with lithium. So you can hear us talk about gold. The keynote addresses tend to be positive gold. The speakers all highlight all this doom and gloom and de-dollarisation and loss of purchasing power, the death of fiat currencies, and lo and behold, what are the BRICS economies going to do? And then gold pops out, and gold's the saviour. So looking forward to talking to you about gold. Couple of things. Rob did a good presentation, spoke about high grade. I'll focus on high margin ounces over high grade because I'm going to talk about a 1.1 gram ore body. Couple of things. 3 reasons that you really want to be thinking about Astral Resources as a company. That's our team, that's the location of our ounces, and then finally the quality of our ounces. So Mandilla is the focus of our project. We joined this company 3.5 years ago because of the potential scale we saw at Mandilla. So with that scale, if we can reach that scale, then we can see mine development, and that's why we joined the company. It is 70 kilometres south of Kalgoorlie. There is 1.3 million ounces at Mandilla now. Importantly, Thea is one open pit, which is 1 million ounces in a single large hole. We've drilled over 130,000 metres over the last 3 years, and since December, we put out a mineral resource estimate. We put out another one in July of this year, so that's 7 months apart. We've added about 500,000 ounces at a discovery cost of $17 an ounce. So this project is continuing to grow rather cost effectively. We just finished a small RC program at Fayetteville, which is our other project, which is only 14 kilometres south of Kalgoorlie. So that Kalgoorlie-Kambalda district is a really nice place to be looking for gold, and we have 2 projects there. And we are working on a scoping study at the moment, which will be out within the next 4 weeks. So it's going to be out during the month of September. And that is definitely going to demonstrate that we have reached the scale to support mine development. So based on this concept of team, location and quality, I'll just talk about team for a little while. I was told once by a fund manager that through their investment strategies that they've looked at over the years, they've invested in some fantastic management teams that have salvaged a really average asset and generated a fantastic return for their shareholders. And on the flip side, they've also invested in some pretty average management teams that have taken fantastic assets and destroyed all the value that there was to be had within it. So Astral, I'm not going to claim to be the best management team out there, but I'm certainly going to claim to being pretty good at what we do, and we certainly have some form. So we took a small high-grade project, which was the Rothsay Gold project in our previous company. We took that to the brink of development. We were looking to arrange financing before we were taken out by Silver Lake Resources, and that successful takeover yielded a very strong return for our shareholders. So as a team, we know how to take Mandilla, which is a fantastic project, take it through to development and generate a really strong return for our Astral shareholders. So location. On this map, there's the 3 towns of Kalgoorlie, Kambalda and Coolgardie. So that's in the West Australian goldfields. There is actually 30 million tonnes per annum of gold processing infrastructure already installed in that area. And with the recent announcements from Evolution and Northern Star, that's going to ramp up to 45 million tonnes per annum of gold processing infrastructure. And because of that, this area has an exceptional track record of commercialising gold discoveries. If you have a good gold discovery in this area, you get an opportunity to build it. And Mandilla and Fayetteville are right smack in the middle of this area. So zooming in now from that district scale map, you're now looking at the local area geology with Mandilla on it. Mandilla is the project that we are planning on commercialising. It is a fantastic project. There are 4 deposits there: Thea, Eos, Hestia and Iris. We put out our first mineral resource in May 2021. That was 500,000 ounces. Since then, we have continued to grow the project, another 153% growth in resources to the 1.3 million ounces we have today. Our ounces are pit constrained, so they are constrained within a $2,500 gold price environment. And the scoping study, which is now weeks away, we will do the mine design at a $2,100 gold price. So they are conservative gold prices, given that it is, $29.90 or $29.80 today. And the other thing about the scoping study is it's going to support a very healthy conversion rate of those resources into a production target. This slide here shows the consistent growth that we've been having at Mandilla over the last 3 years since we became involved. Yes, we'll lament the tough market that we have for gold juniors, and the reality is there does end up being a disconnect between the technical strength of the project and the share price, and that does present an opportunity for people that are motivated to be investing and increasing their exposure to gold and gold equities. The last two resource estimates added just under 500,000 ounces, and the discovery cost was $17 an ounce. So it is growing cost effectively. The July mineral resource estimate, which just came out last month, we were focused on increasing the quality of the resource. So we got a 69% increase in indicated ounces. And that's important for us because with the scoping study that's coming out in a couple of weeks' time, to manage the relationship with the ASX, you need to get a 70% indicated, 30% inferred in your resource that converts to the production target. And that's what we'll be able to deliver with the scoping study because of the success of that recent resource upgrade. But another point is, as we're focusing on increasing the confidence of that resource, we still added 231,000 ounces to that, and it came in at $18 an ounce. Cost-effective growth. Our plan is to continue to grow the resource. We've done it for 3 years in a row. We're drilling there now, and we will continue to grow that going forward. This is just a snippet of our drill results so far in 2023. So we did about 30,000 metres in the first half of the year. We have an RC rig at Thea right now, and the diamond rig will be arriving in mid-September. So the 2023 program was averaging 108 gram metres of gold down the length of each hole. So we average the numerous intersections that we get, sum them together, and tells you how much gold we have in the hole. So 2023 was 108 gram metres. 2022 we averaged 97 gram metres, and to be honest, I actually thought 2022 was a fantastic year, and 23 is shaping up to be even better so far. The first drill hole you can see on that slide is the 344 gram metres of gold in a single hole. There's 4 intersections in that hole, 98 metres at 1.2, 16 metres at 3.4, 11 metres at 5.6, 18 metres at 2.4. That's in one hole, right? And then you've just got a list of them there. And with the drills turning again at Mandilla, I'm certainly looking forward to just continuing to provide those good news flow results as we go forward. Remember, it was team, location, and quality. So I do want to talk about quality at the moment, and that's the quality of our ounces. This is a 1.1 gram ore body. We were acutely aware of the risks of developing a low-grade ore body when we came into this project 3 years ago. When we look at our peer group, certainly in Western Australia, the history suggests that performance hasn't been that good. And if you're not acknowledging what's happened in the past, then the reality is there's every chance you're going to go and repeat those same mistakes in the future. So we have spent a great deal of time looking at that peer group, reviewing what has potentially not gone to plan, and it's as simple as a mismanagement of the geology risk. So I'm not discounting the other risks, whether it's to do with financing, funding, construction, your schedule, ramp up, and heaven forbid the commodity price cycle risk, which given the last couple of speakers over the last 2 days, it's going to the moon, so that should be okay. But either way, you need to mitigate all of those risks, but if the geology risk isn't managed right from the start, then you're actually starting the race from a losing position, and it's really, really hard to recover. So when we looked further into that peer group, we actually looked at the ones that had cataclysmic outcomes. So they're the ones who entered into administration, and we said, well, what is the administrator and the banking syndicate doing with these deposits? Are they going to just accept cents of the dollar as the secured creditors and burn the shareholders and give them nothing? Or is there an opportunity to recapitalise these businesses and go forward? And the first thing they do is they look at the resource and they go, let's redo the resource. And so we said, well, who do they go to do that resource? What was the company? Who was the individual? And we thought, well, it's as simple as let's go to the banker's favourite, let's go to the conservative resource estimating geologist and let's estimate our resource that way. And that's exactly what we've done. So I'm not saying that fixes all of our problems. There's certainly lots of risks you need to manage going forward, but from a geology perspective, we have ensured there's been enough risk management go into the modelling of this resource so that we do expect it to deliver when we go into production. So on the image you can see the pit shells, you can see the block model. Again, it's done at a $2,500 gold price. you can see Thea, it's a 1.7 kilometres long. It is 370 metres deep. It is a very big hole in the ground. And the reality is, through the scoping study, which you'll see in the next couple of weeks, that is where all the money is made. The resources at Thea are only limited by the depth of drilling. At EOS, we have 50,000 ounces at 1.5 grams. So that's a bit of a grade sweetener for us. We put out some results early this morning, which just shows that EOS, which is a paleo channel, so it's like a river system, that is continuing to grow to the southeast. So it actually continues to grow, and it'll actually just continue to grow, bend in and join to those resources there. So we'll get some continued growth at EOS. Hestia is 80,000 ounces, Iris is 115 for that 1.3 million ounces in total resource. As I said, the scoping study, $2,100 gold price for the detailed design and schedule. It will deliver a 70% indicated versus inferred from a production target perspective. And it will certainly deliver a very strong conversion rate of those ounces to a production target. So here is the 1 million ounce pit in projection. Again, to reinforce, it's 70 kilometres south of Kalgoorlie. 1 million ounces is actually quite rare in this area. So I downloaded the S&P Global database and basically sorted it for any resources of our scale within 100 kilometres of Mandilla. And the only ones that beat Thea are the Super Pit, and then Northern Star have a Red Hill mine at Kanowna. They're the only two deposits in this area that are bigger than us. So a large-scale open pit in this region is certainly very rare and very valuable. Thea is continuing to grow, only limited by depth. As I said, diamond drilling starting mid-September. If we can widen this resource on the flanks, then we can certainly continue to grow it at depth because it is open at depth. Just a quick comment on our other project, which is Fayetteville. Any good mine plan needs to have schedule flexibility. And the reason we drilled Fayetteville is we believe there is the opportunity to create multiple 100-ounce style deposits that we can feed into a large Mandilla centralised processing plant. In January of this year, we drilled 6 targets. 4 of them returned really strong results. We then, just this month, drilled Camperman, Hyperno and Ethereal. The reason we drilled those 3 targets is they all returned good results in January. They all have a simple structural control to the geology. So when we go back and drill them, which we have just done, we can rule these things in or out rather cost effectively and then determine to what extent we want to progress it. Given that it's only 50 k's from Mandilla, it will consume 0.1 gram of gold to truck it to a large process plant at Mandilla. So it is value accretive. It is certainly likely to be higher grade than what we have at Mandilla, and with success at Fayetteville, it'll give us additional mine planning flexibility, and that's simply good business, and it continues to de-risk a Mandilla mine development. So as a wrap-up, this team has the skills to take Mandilla through to development, and we have done it before. Our plan is to do it again. Astral Resources presents as a unique investment at the moment. There is no other gold deposit in our region that has the scale of Thea that still belongs to a junior explorer. There is 45 million tonnes per annum of processing capacity in that area, so that makes this deposit very rare and very valuable. I haven't spoken about metallurgy. I am a metallurgist by background. We have done the met testing. We have released that previously. This is going through our scoping study model at 95.7% recovery. It is free milling. 70% of it recovers to gravity, and we only need to grind it to about 212 microns. So the amount of power you need to input into something at 212 micron is less than half the power if you're going all the way to 75 micron, which is the majority of our peers. We are confident that the projects will continue to grow. This area is a very mature area, and large-scale open pits simply do not appear every day. And the scoping study, which will come out in September, is absolutely going to demonstrate just how valuable this project can be. Thank you.